Hey, Alicia, how you doing? Hey, Tiff, how you doing? Want us to get a quick scope in today? I have a couple of conference calls tonight, so I was gonna try and do it earlier today. Then also I wanted to try some different times to see if I would get more people at different times during the day. I'm not sure why the number is higher during the day. You all are supposed to be working, but it is what it is. Hey Tiff, I'm not sure if you heard me when you came in. Thank you for sharing with your followers too. I want us to come in and do this quick scope today to say that today is your last day. Oh, you're off today. Maybe everybody else gets weekdays off also, and that's how the numbers are higher during the day than in the evening. But I just wanted to come on and do this quick scope and say, hey Rod, how are you? Come on in and say today is your last day feeling insecure. As you know me, my name is Anita, and I am the Living Unashamed speaker and success coach. Oh, Tiff, really? How old are they? How old is your child? I'm doing good, Rod. How are you? The Living Unashamed speaker and success coach, and Living Unashamed is not allowing anyone, including you, to allow your insecurities, failures, mistakes, or your past experiences to stop you from going after your dreams or to make you feel less than. I'm on today because I want to debunk 3 myths about insecurity and talk about where insecurity comes from and how we can improve your self-esteem so that you don't feel so insecure. Because it really affects the people around you when you aren't walking in or living in your greatness. 10 months and 9 years. Oh, 9. Tell them I said, hey, Janae, how are you? Here go another one during the day. How are you, Janae? Thanks for joining the scope. You all please share with your followers. I got an error when I first logged into Periscope saying that some error happened and they weren't able to share it with my followers. So thank you all for sharing with your followers. And Janae, I was just saying that I just came on to do a quick scope really quick because I want to talk about insecurity. And I want to talk about some of the myths that we have in our society that feed insecurity. Okay. Right, please do not type and drive. And I saw your scope the other day. Really good scope, Janae. And you know what? We got Alicia to do a scope yesterday. So we got to keep this going. We got to keep this going with everybody scopes. I want to talk about the myths of insecurity and the things that feed insecurity that they're just woven into our society. It doesn't disappear on its own. It's something that you actually have to work at. Once it hits you and it has a trigger, it's connected to your emotions. It's connected to the way you think. It's connected to the way that you process information. And the first one is comparing ourselves to others. I know people in my office and they compare themselves to others in the office and they look at superficial things like clothes, named brands, shoes, the type of car they drive. And they think that because they have these things, the number of degrees they have, they look at these things and they think that because somebody has them, that their life is so beautiful and so tightly, woven together and it's so great. But the truth of the matter is their life could be a complete mess and just falling apart at the seams. But you wouldn't know it because of the way that person carries themselves. You wouldn't know it because of the way they carry themselves, the fact that they don't allow their personal issues to be displayed all over their professional work environment. And you should live your life the same way. Don't live in comparison to somebody else. Find your value in you and your value system. Find your value in the things that you treasure. what makes you feel good about yourself, not in comparing yourself to others, because you never know what's going on in somebody's life. It could look roses and daisies on the outside. Then once you get into that house, shut that door, all hell could be busting loose. You don't know. So stop, please, sisters, stop living your life in comparison to other people. You don't know. The other thing is, you don't know how they got to where they are. They may not have earned it. I know a couple of people that the way they got into the positions that they're in, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare sacrifice the things that they've sacrificed, self-respect. I wouldn't dare sacrifice the things that they've sacrificed to get into the positions that they're in. They can have those positions if that is the only way to have it. Because the truth is, whatever God has for you is for you. Yes, selling that soul to the devil, girl, making deals with the devil to get into these positions. And then when they get into these high positions, they're still not happy, but they don't know why. Well, you done made a deal with the devil, so of course you're not happy. You've sold your self-respect, so of course you're not happy. So please stop comparing yourselves to others. And this second one, it comes straight out of Vacation Bible School. When they continuously teach and they do it in such a way that they tell you to always put others first. And that's not good. You do not always put other people before yourself. There has to be a balance, because if you continuously throughout your life always put other people first, then you're going to begin to feel like you deserve to be last, and you don't. You do not deserve to be last. Everybody else does not deserve to be first. You should find a balance. Even you mothers, even mothers with young children, find a balance. Yes, and find a way to put yourself. Mommy got to have mommy time. Like they just went off on, pop culture just went off on, I don't know her name, but she is, what's his name? John Legend's wife. And her baby was just like maybe 2 weeks old. And she was out going to dinner with her husband. What is wrong with that? She went out to dinner with her husband. Now, I'm sure they can afford very good care for their kids. They both have relatives. These people have lives. And she's probably so happy to just be able to look down and see her feet or to be able to put her own shoes on. It's a great thing that she has that level of self-confidence and self-esteem to step outside of her house just to go have dinner with her husband. That child will be just fine. Stop judging other people according to your value system. What she did was not immoral, it was not unethical, and it was not illegal. Therefore, it was not your business. Number 3, this is the third myth concerning insecurities that I want to talk about. And it's regarding the effects that other people have on us when they put tags on us or they put labels on us. A tag is what somebody tries to tell you about yourself. A label is what they call you. And like Tyler Perry says all the time, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. And here is a prime example of a tag. I had a supervisor one time tell me, she says, Anita, you don't like change. I said, really? Let me see if I understand this. I have lived across 4 states in my adulthood, not my childhood. In my adulthood, I've lived across 4 states. I've attended 5, maybe 4 at that time, institutions of higher learning, all in different areas, as in different states and different cities. I've worked in 22 different jobs in 12 different career fields, trying to build a life for myself and find exactly where and what my purpose was. And you still live in the same city that you were born in, and you've worked one job for 30 years. Do I have that correct? And it's me that doesn't like change? Do not allow people to use their insecurities to put tags upon you. There's no way that she was going to tell me that I didn't like change. Communicate what you want to say, which was, right, exactly, no growth, which was, I don't like change that isn't communicated, but then you put the expectation on me. You can't expect me to change if you haven't told me that the policy is different. I'm going to continue to do the policy that I learned upon accepting this position. You didn't want to admit that you hadn't communicated to your subordinates that the change had occurred. So when your boss turned that corner and asked, why were your employees still carrying out this particular policy in this particular manner, you were looking for somebody else to blame. I mean, look at the big picture of things and stop. What's my number one rule? Do not take responsibility for what you didn't commit and what you can't control. Do not take responsibility for what you didn't commit and what you can't control. And don't let me leave this one out. For all of you sisters that think your value or how great you look is found in whether or not a man gives you attention, you should know that you look great whether a man gives you attention or not. When a man does give you attention, you shouldn't be melting like butter in a skillet. You should say thank you, be mannerable, but just accept the fact that he's admiring good genes. Or if you're a sister that gets up 5 o'clock in the morning and goes to the gym and you putting in the work, he's admiring good genes. He's admiring your hard work. Just say thank you and keep it going. But please do not think that because a man shows you attention, that is where your value is, because it's not. You have value and you are beautiful no matter what a man thinks. No matter what anybody else thinks, any other human being, no matter what they think. You have value and you are perfect just the way you are right now, because you are where you are. God intended for you to be, and you are who you are at this point in your life. God intended for you to be. It is a growth process, emotionally and spiritually and physically, for every day that you take a breath on this earth. It is a growth process. Your value, your worth is not found in any other human being. It is all found inside you. Pick up on what you value. Number one in my value system is learning. I love to learn new things, and I love accomplishment. You can't tell by reading my bio, my value system is strong in accomplishments. It has to be task driven, and there has to be a box to check off. That is where my value system lies. Yes, that's where my values, and I know that. So I need you to get in tune and stop paying attention. What gives you that feeling inside and say, hey, I did that. What gives that to you? Pay attention to that. Because that is your value. That is where you can begin to build your self-esteem, which is, let's get into that just a little bit. Building self-esteem. If you do have insecurities, this is where you need to start in building your self-esteem. One of the ways that you can do that, and it's one of the easiest ways, it does not cost a dime. Everybody has a mirror in their house somewhere. Stand in front of the mirror. No makeup, nothing. No foundation, no eyeshadow, no false lashes, no lipstick, nothing. Just stand in the mirror, bare you. Look yourself in the mirror and say out loud, she is beautiful. Point to yourself in the mirror and out loud say it. She is beautiful, just as she is. She is beautiful. That's one. And then pay attention to how you feel. Yes, bare. It has to be bare because that's you naturally. Everything else is man-made. You naturally is the most beautiful thing in the world. Thanks, Janae. You in the mirror, bare, is the most beautiful thing in the world. Look yourself in the mirror and say out loud, point at yourself and say, she is beautiful. She. Point at yourself and say, she is beautiful. You can even call your name. It must be out loud. Pay attention to how you feel when you do that. Because a lot of sisters that are walking around and they carry themselves in such a big and a bold and a bad manner, or, I mean, everywhere they go, you hear them before you see them. And 5 minutes after they arrive, you know something is about to go down. Because that's the way that they carry themselves. That's their persona. All that is insecurity. There's something that they have not dealt with inside. Whether it's pain, whether it's a prior experience that was traumatic, whatever it is, sisters, we got to start digging at that, because it is eating our society alive and it is tearing the Black community apart. We got to start digging at it, and we got to start dealing with it. That is the only way we are going to improve our communities, and we are going to improve our families. Look, you're so true. Thanks, Tiff. Look yourself in the mirror. And do this every morning and every night. If you go to if you are in the restroom at work and you look up and notice yourself, say it. She is beautiful. It's not that hard. And like I said, my number one rule, do not take responsibility for what you didn't commit and for what you can't control. Never take responsibility for that. The Z Gonzo, how you doing? I'm just about to wrap up, but I want to give you one more. I gave you that one affirmation to look in the mirror and say, to begin to improve your self-esteem. Also, begin to just process and see yourself as I do all the time, and break out in song. Yes, I do too. I do too, Tiff, all the time. And while I'm driving in my car, songs come on and I sing them. Sing those songs as if you are talking to yourself. I'm goofy at times. And that's a great thing. That's great. One is great that you can admit it. Two is great that it doesn't embarrass you. I wish everybody had that. I wish everybody had that level of I wish everybody had that level of self-esteem. I saw a post the other day on Facebook that said, I don't just sing, I perform in my vehicle on a regular basis. And I typed in, I said, daily, yes. I don't care how I look. I don't care what other people think. I snap at myself. Yes. And the energy that you keep around you when you do that is great, because it's all positive energy. You stay in tune to yourself and what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And you're keeping your value in the most important place, on yourself, in yourself. I just wanted to hop on and do that quick scope. I didn't mean to stay this long, actually. Hopefully you guys are having great days. Hopefully you're having blessed days, and that everything that you come in contact with blesses you today. And I pass that on to my little sisters by living it. Yes. One of the things that I used to do to my oldest niece is that, such a good school. Oh, thank you, Janae. One of the things that I used to do to my niece, the oldest niece, when she was younger, before she was walking, and then once she started walking, I stayed and watched. Thank you very much. Because you guys know this was not easy for a sister when I first started, okay? One of the things that I used to do with my niece when she was younger, before she started walking and then during her toddler days, is I would always ask her, are you a pretty girl? Are you a pretty girl? Are you a beautiful girl? Not just, were you good today? You know how parents check in with their kids, especially when somebody else is babysitting. You know, they say, don't go over there and embarrass me. But I would ask her, are you a pretty girl? And when she was very young, like just before she started walking, she would just smile when I asked her that. During her toddler stage, again, still she would just kind of smile shyly. But then as she became a toddler and she began walking more, she began speaking more, she would answer me yes. She would answer me affirmatively. And from now, what I understand from her aunts, on her maternal aunts and so forth, and other people that are around her, is that she's a very confident young woman. She knows who she is, what she has, where her source is. And she looks in the mirror, and they can hear her sometimes in the bathroom saying, "Ooh, you a pretty girl." Yes, you are a very pretty girl. Thank you, guys. And I will check in with you all later. And thank you very, very much for hanging with me in this growth process and getting comfortable on video and dealing with these periscopes. These coaches, girl, these coaches, they really push. They really, really push. So I will be looking for scopes from the two of you later on today. Right? Scopes from the two of you today? Ladies? Alicia? Janae? Tiff? Anybody? I will be looking for scopes from you all this afternoon. Crickets. I get crickets. No response. Yes, you need to. Yes. Especially, and this is your month. This is your month. And that message that you gave the other day, absolutely perfect. Absolutely right. Spot on. Faith is great, but what about the works? You can't just sit and expect it to fall into your lap. You have to get up and get to work and get to doing something about it. Woo. So I will be looking for you later on today, ladies. Enjoy your day. Bye.